Hello, my name is Gareth. Welcome to my channel, True Spiritual Awakening. Today I'm going to be giving a talk on the essence of the self. You may have shown up here on my channel recently as the viewers and the listeners have started to grow recently. There's been an influx of new people on my meditation group. And a lot of people want to know what the nature of my work is. And I don't talk a lot. You know, if you come to my Zoom meditations, a lot of the work I do is the energy transmissions. So I have noticed that there have been a lot of comments on my videos and emails coming in and people asking, what's the purpose of all of this? And today I'm going to talk about the self and what that is and how it can be uncovered. So firstly, let me start by saying that the individual never attains anything in spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening is the recognition of the eternal self through the individual. So instead of the individual attaining something, some sort of knowledge that will complete itself or some aha moment that's going to make its life better, spiritual awakening is about the luminous self that has always existed and will always exist, waking up to the reality of itself through the individual. And I'm going to talk about what is stopping that and how we can encourage that unfoldment through the individual. So firstly, let me start by talking about the identification as the body, mind, personality, separate self, separate individual, you know, the body, mind, us, the individuals, what that is and why we suffer. So when we are born into a body, from a very young age, we are given a name, an identity. We're given morals, codes of conduct, how to act. And we accept this as our identity. I'm me, I'm my name, I'm my sex, I'm my, my country. This is me. I look outside, I see others who are separate from me. I'm me and, they exist out there. I am separate. And we seem to have a commentary, this voice that exists within our head and tells us that it is us. And it's not bad. It's just a part of our intellect that serves that separate sense of self. It wants it to feel safe and secure. And it wants to soothe any feelings of fear and uneasiness in our life by telling us things, making comparisons, telling you you're better or you're worse or everything's going to be fine. And it constantly runs in their heads, constantly trying to predict the future, trying to keep itself safe, trying to pull in the good things and push away the bad things. And this sense of being a separate self or a separate entity is the root cause of all suffering. We want the good things in life and we want to push away the bad things. And when life isn't the way we want it, we become miserable. We make ourselves sick. We make those around us miserable because life isn't conforming to our expectations of how it should be. And this is the root. This is why we suffer. We start to develop anxiety. How will tomorrow be? How will next week be? How will I be in the world? Will I be safe? Will I be secure? Will I have everything to keep me happy? Projecting into the future something that we can never know. The mind, the ego can never, ever know the future. And that is why we suffer in the world. So, how do we stop the suffering? Well, you might find that as you listen to me talking, you might close your eyes and you might notice that there's something that's aware of my voice, a place within you, within everyone, that is perceiving your world through your senses, listening, listening to your own voice, listening to my voice, peering out through your eyes, allowing the world to be, allowing you, the small self, to be whatever way you want to be. And as I talk from that place of the self, the truth in my words is being perceived by that same place that's listening in you. And you might quiet down the mind and notice that there are gaps where the commentary just seems to slow down moments where there's no voice talking, no commentary running. And when you start to find these gaps, oh, there's a spaciousness within that's listening and allowing. And it's always been there. It was there when you were born. It's been there at every moment of your life. Every moment, every moment that you have lived, it's been in at the back of your mind, looking and listening and allowing you to be. And it's always been there. Always. Every morning, as soon as you wake up, before the thoughts come into your mind, it's listening, watching you wake up. Right now, it's what's listening to the words coming through this video. And we seem to have overlooked it and missed that place of unbounded peace and awareness that actually never ever suffers. It never suffers. It's aware of your suffering, but it never suffers. Never feels anxious. What is it that feels the anxiety? It's the body mind. But the self never feels anxious. If you slow down and sense into that place where I'm talking from, you might get the feeling that the awareness is aware of the anxiety, but it's not feeling anxious. It's the same with all of the emotions: happiness, sadness, jealousy. All of these feelings can be felt through the body, and the self is just noticing and allowing of all of them. But it itself is none of these things. So if we move from the identification of the mind and the body and the ego, and we start to slow down, slow everything down, become aware of the mind, like watch the thoughts. And when we start to watch the thoughts, watch them, listen, listen from that space of awareness, you notice that there's spaciousness between you what you really are as awareness, and the story of who you once believed yourself to be, the mind, the feelings, the identification with the story. You are something other. Now there's some small gap that has opened up. There's a spaciousness between the commentary and the emotions. And you might notice that you, the real you, exists as spacious, unbounded awareness. You're not the mind. You're not the ego. You are now starting to witness your body, your mind, your human from the state of awareness. And this brings a sense of freedom. There's stillness in the mind. You start to notice a subtle aliveness now in the body. You start to become aware of small things like the breath, and maybe there's a slight hum that you perceive with your ears, your hearing, and you can really feel the life in your body and the life all around you in your outside world. And this place that I'm talking about is there for you to connect with at any moment if you can slow down the mind. So this is what's known as witnessing consciousness, being in the moment, being aware, allowing. And you may notice that that the awareness that's looking in on your life and perceiving, it might it might decide to turn around, pivot back on itself, and it might notice its own nature as awareness. It might become aware of itself as unbounded awareness. And when this happens, it's like it unhooks itself from the ego completely. And it might feel like there's a snap or a click. And in that moment, it floats free completely. And it looks back in on itself and notices that there's no boundaries, there's no edges, there's just freedom. Total freedom, almost like kicking off an uncomfortable shoe. The human is still there. The mind is still thinking. There's still emotions. There's still a life. But now, at the center of what you are, there is awareness, aware of itself. And this is what's known as self-realization. And when it happens, a lot of the conditions, the conditioning mind, morality, starts to fall away. All those things you once believed about yourself. I'm a man, I'm a woman, this is my age, this is my profession, this is the country that I was born, my nationality, this is how I should be, this is how I should act. You might start to notice that those are just constructs in the mind, labels. And they may have been useful, but now they just seem to get in the way. And we seem to do much better knowing ourselves as the self. And this is the self realization that I talk about in spiritual awakening. You are not your body. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. Your sex. Your nationality. You are none of these things. You are eternal consciousness and awareness. And your body and your life exists within that awareness. And this is how we stop the suffering of the individual. Okay, this is the end of our discussion. I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next time.